afternoon, I had a very long conversation with an amazing friend of mine, and we were talking about someone who was in a or is in a manipulative relationship. And I was just telling my friend I understood where this other person was. Um, I think it's very hard to be the friend of someone who is in such a relationship, because if you've never experienced it before, you think, why wouldn't they just leave? Why not just leave? Especially when you have so much going for you. Usually, the person who's in a manipulative relationship is good looking, smart, whatever else, talented, etc., has a great job. And that's not an accident, because manipulators tend to go for shiny things. They have magpie syndrome. They would always want to go for anything that would um, improve their own self image. Therefore, they want to be associated with the best sort of people. They usually go for pretty or very handsome people. They would usually go for people who have a high status in society. So they're drawn to successful people, right? So manipulative people are drawn to very successful people, which is why when these same people that they're drawn to, who are good looking, successful, whatever, are now in relationship with them and are being mistreated, mishandled, mismanaged, the friend of this person is like, why not just leave? You can do so much better. And I thought I'd do the video to explain why they don't just leave. You see, the people who manipulate, and I don't mean, I think everyone sort of manipulates on some level, on a very, even if it's on a seemingly innocent level, the type where you always want the people you love to see the best of you, where you just want to look good to your friends and family. That's not what I mean. That's not the kind of manipulation we're talking about. I mean the systematic pursuance of another human being in order to control them. That is the kind of manipulation I'm talking about, and that is evil. In the Bible, is evil. There are no two ways around it. No one human being should seek to control another, either overtly or indirectly, by making them feel like they've always got to do something to get your good side, by trying to make them feel bad about themselves, with your moods or whatever, or even your comments, to try and break them down. That is evil. And people who do this sort of calculated manipulation, are usually people who are very damaged themselves. And that, I've got to be careful when I say that, because when I say that, what actually attracts the successful person to them is empathy. Okay, so you have the narcissistic personality, the histrionic personality, and you have the one who's empathetic, who's thinking, I want to see the best in this person. And usually this one displays just enough good to attract this person. Okay, and then what happens is they begin to systematically, and it's very systematic, it really, really is, it's very systematic, systematically break down the defenses. They will typically lure that person into keeping a secret, even an innocent secret, even if it's just keeping the relationship quiet. They lure that person into doing that for a bit, and then they will begin to just test boundaries very gently. They will pretend to be everything this person wants. They pay very close attention to everything this person is saying, and then they mimic. Basically, they are like shapeshifters. If someone of that personality is with a Muslim, they will convert to Islam. They would be pretty much Islamic. If they're with a Hindu, they would know and do all things in the Hindu religion. to fit, right? And therefore, because they tend to actually be very, very smart, therefore they were or worm their way into this person's life. And then this is where it becomes very hard and very insidious, is they begin to push the boundaries. They begin to chip away at whatever that person is not confident about. I mean, if the person is worried about their weight, for example, if the person has mentioned innocently to the person they're in a relationship with, oh, I'm finally happy with my weight. I worked really hard. I was a fat kid or an overweight kid, and I worked really hard to get to this size. You will find that this person will begin to make comments whenever they see the individual, whenever they see your friend, they will begin to make comments like, oh, are you eating again? I thought you ate earlier. Oh, you must be enjoying that food. Oh, wow, second helpings. You see, that's designed to make that person uncomfortable. And then it goes on progressively from that to verbal abuse, very outright verbal abuse. And as a result of it, that if they would just come straight out and do something really awful immediately, it would give your friend the chance to go, what? No. But they infiltrate gradually. They lower the barriers and the standards of acceptable behavior very, very gradually. Okay, so by the time your friend realizes that they are in trouble, they would usually have started showing you signs that they're not okay. They might find it difficult to meet your eyes because they can't quite articulate. Nothing has happened that is terrible enough to warrant them coming to you, but their own sense of being okay has begun to chip away, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And by the time usually this person who has orchestrated this whole strategy has revealed their hand, is usually when they have got your friend in a position where your friend feels, gosh, it's quite difficult to walk away now. Usually they would have made some sort of commitment together. They would have purchased something together. Your friend might be pregnant or whatever. Okay. Now, why I say it's very difficult is because if you have not experienced it, and this is why they are so successful, if you've not experienced it, it feels like, duh, just leave, right? But because their sense of reality has been so tampered with, they will find it usually quite difficult to decide that what is happening is bad enough to just walk away, because the ill treatment usually goes hand in hand a with being told that they are imagining things to be worse than it is. So they would be told that, oh, so what if I just called you a name? Everyone calls each other names, or well, at least I'm with you, even though you read too much. You see, they would usually chip into or tap into that thing that the person is sensitive about. And they would usually have tried to distort reality, which is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is a very common term made famous by the Hitchcock, or is it Hitchcock movie? Some movie anyway, where someone kept turning on the gas and turning it off and telling the other person that they were imagining it, right? This happens very commonly. Two people will have an argument and very hurtful things to be said by one party to the other. And 2 days later, this person is still very hurt, but that one will go, well, you called me names. And this person who's hurt is thinking, I never called you names. Instead, you called me names. And this happens I've seen it. I have seen it. Where someone, it has actually happened to me once, where someone, well, more than once, but we shan't go into that. It has actually happened where you're having a conversation with someone and then suddenly an insult is hurled, and you're like, what? How dare you say? And the person goes, yes, I'm this, but you're this too. I'm like, no, I never called you that. Can we not just speak like adults? So but that might seem like, oh, it's just the heat of the moment. It's not. It's a very deliberate action. It's a very deliberate thing done to make the other person, the target of the manipulation, feel like they cannot trust their memory. So when you have a friend who is being manipulated or in a relationship that you know is toxic, not healthy, a few things you will notice. One, they will find it difficult to meet your eye or talk about the relationship for any length of time. If you ask them about their relationship, chances are they would either change the topic fairly quickly, maybe focus on your own relationship, or they will be overly bright about their answer whilst it never actually meets their eye. So if you know your friend, look out for this. Two, they are more likely to say everything is fine and gloss over it. And you as the friend might feel hurt that why is my friend not confiding in me? Let me explain that to you. Your friend's not confiding in you because they haven't accepted or realized or been objective yet about their situation, about what they're going through. And that's not entirely their fault. It has been orchestrated so that they are made to feel that whatever turmoil they're feeling because of what they are going through, which their spirits knows is wrong, they have been made to feel that they are exaggerating it. So, and that is done on purpose. It's done to dissuade them from ever talking to people about it. Because surely, if I let you know that what I'm doing to you is very bad, then you're going to go talk to people, and then when you talk to people, people are going to go like, "What?" So therefore, what the manipulator does is make you feel like what they've done is not that bad. Therefore, you'd be silly to talk to anyone about it. Therefore, they can continue in this guise of everything is fine and they maintain control over the person. And chances are, if they're still being evasive and you sense that they're not okay, they are also very embarrassed about it because it's very, very likely that this is not their first manipulative relationship. And also this will not be the manipulator's first manipulative relationship. Okay, there are two types of people who develop an issue going forward after a traumatic childhood. They're the ones who become manipulators as a way of coping badly with childhood traumas, and they're also the ones who become very, very empathetic, trying to fix everybody. They become so compassionate to everybody else. These people usually seek out these people. These ones don't go looking for them. The empathetic people don't go looking for the manipulative people. The manipulative people just are drawn to them. But why? Why are they drawn to them? Because manipulative people love to be the center of attention. They need to be the center of attention. They feel worthless if they're not the center of attention. And therefore, who best to pay attention to someone than someone who's extra compassionate? So they go looking for those people who they know that they can turn their entire focus onto themselves just by pretending to be hurt or whatever or upset. And another time, maybe not this talk, I will go into the two different types of, well, the two main types of manipulative behavior: the narcissists and the histrionic personality disorders. There are some overlaps, But when you notice, when I explain the personality or the characteristics of these people, you will see them all around. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that you run around thinking everybody's a narcissist, but it may help you to understand your friends who are in these sort of relationships. Because I will share what they do to attract the people that they target. And it would help you understand why your friend feels completely isolated. Now, I've said all of that to say that if you are the friend of someone who you just can't understand why they can't leave a terrible toxic relationship, hang in there. Your friend needs you. You may not completely understand why they are where they are. I hope this explanation has helped you. But what I would say is that your friendship, the times your friend meets up with you, even if she doesn't share everything that she is going through, even if she doesn't finally open up and say, listen, my spouse, or even if he doesn't go open up, say my wife or whatever, even if they don't open up finally to you immediately to say my partner is terrible to me, blah 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 blah, they really really appreciate your presence. Don't pull away from them just because you cannot understand why they are in a relationship where they're not happy. If you sense that they're not happy, the best thing you can do, what your friend needs you to do, is be there. You are their lifeline to normality. You are their reminder that there is something good about themselves. Because when someone's significant relationship is very toxic, chances are they will begin to feel that they themselves are somehow tainted, that they don't deserve good things, that good things can't happen to them. Now, we know, I'm sure if you look it up, there must be links to people who have been through these sort of relationships and then had healthy ones. We know that it is possible to come out of this, have a lot of self-work, and have a healthy relationship, but it just doesn't feel like that when you're in the middle of it. And that is why your friend really needs you to be there. Don't pry, don't push. You could ask, you could say, are things okay? Because I suspect that, this guy, this woman is not what they seem they are, what, the picture they're painting. You could ask that. In fact, you could ask it twice and then back off. Maybe ask it again in another 2 months and see. But in the meantime, be there. Be there for your friend. They need all the good friends. They don't need the gossipy friends. They need the good friends to be around them. Anyway, I just felt I had to come and share that because I felt there was a reason that that conversation was had today. And if you are the person in the manipulative relationship, then it does get better. It will get better. And you will be happy. You will be happy. Hang in there. One day you're going to get out of it.